Thank you. Um, Ms. LaRocca, just please acknowledge that Trustee Kazari is not at attendance yet, but I do anticipate him any moment before we start for the roll call. Thank you for coming, everybody. And thank God we don't have any snow. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Those days are behind us because it really has hurt our schedule and our meetings and everyone's life. But so far, the worst is behind us, so thank you for coming. At this time, we will have resident comments on agenda items only. If there are any resident comments on agenda items only, please come up. Okay. Oh. Oh, I don't know if they're coming up. Okay. All right. A motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Acceptance of warrants for March 15th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion for the approval of regular meeting minutes for February 15th?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve work session minutes, February 12th, 2018?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. At this time, we will have our superintendent's report.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President. Good evening to everyone. As you are aware, it's been a pretty eventful last 2 weeks in Mahopac with the snow and the weather. Just a couple of notes of importance. About a week and a half ago on Tuesday, I sent out the revised calendar. Nothing has changed with that, so it's still the following dates are makeup dates. That's May 25th, March 29th, April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. If for some reason, and we're hoping not, hopefully we saw the sun all day today, we'll see a lot more days of sun. If we need to take an additional snow day, it would be that week of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So let me just clarify a couple of things with regards to state requirements and number of days in school. So we have to be in school for 180 school days. As you're aware, not only Mahopac, but many of other surrounding districts went through probably 2 back-to-back nor'easters that in some ways were, if not more so devastating than we had with Sandy. And many of you suffered without power, as did some of our schools. So as the calendar states, those makeup days will take place during our spring recess as well as May 25th. Please understand that there were also some other questions about, well, why can't we tag them on to the end of the school year at the end of June? We can't do that for a number of reasons. Number one, you have students who are in AP classes, who are in Regents classes, who need those days back, and they have to be able to get those days prior to the end of June. The second thing is contractual obligations, a number of days of school. We have to make sure we are adhering to our MOAs and those agreements. Indeed, the staff has more days than the students have, and as of now, the staff for the schools will be in those extra days after school ends on that Monday and Tuesday to make up those days for contractual obligations. So that is the current update on the snow days. We are hoping that we do not have to see any more snow days. Along those lines, I really need to take the opportunity to thank the following individuals. Every single morning in my office at 10 o'clock, we had a status update. That was myself, our Director of Transportation, Pam Romeo, our Buildings and Grounds Supervisor, George Pine, our Highway Department Supervisor, Mike Simone. Kenny Schmidt was involved very much, our Town Supervisor. Every afternoon I went to his office and we had an update with NYSEG. Also, Susan McDonough was very much involved with helping us out. They actually assigned us a liaison for the town of Carmel, and we got to speak with them every day. And last but not least, Greg Stowell, who helped out tremendously with getting the messages out to everybody. Before and after the storm, we started our Chromebook rollouts. We started in the middle school, and now we're at a high school. We're in the process of finishing up the high school, and then we'll be in the elementary schools for grade 5. I was able to witness the 6th grade rollout at the middle school Literally, it was seamless. Again, a great big shout out to Greg Stowell, the technology teams here in the Mahopac Central School District, as well as BOCES. As you know, if you don't know, many of the students and children that you have that are in those grades have gotten their Chromebooks. They become a part of what we do here in Mahopac each and every day in regards to innovation and instruction. I equate it to like having a textbook. So it's a textbook now that kids have that they bring with them, and it's part of what instruction is all about as we delve into the 21st century. I also want to congratulate Greg Stowell and Adam Pease. They presented up at the NISCUS workshop for the winter up in Albany. They presented the Breakthrough Classroom. They had about 45 superintendents from around the state that went in and watched what is happening with the Breakthrough Classroom. I got many phone calls and emails just congratulating Mahopac for being a leader in this innovation, and really congratulating Adam Pease and Greg Stoll for an absolutely fantastic job. The next area that I want to speak to everybody about is security. In light of what happened in Florida, in Parkland, and my beginning a number of weeks later, myself and the Board of Education have had several discussions about our security and always the need to take a look at it and enhance it. I share with the community a number of things. Districts throughout the country are grappling with security, what they have in place and what we can put in place to even tighten our security. I will let you know that I've got many phone calls from many superintendents because we have things in place that other school districts are looking for. Our security huts that we have in the front of our middle schools and high schools, our sheriff's cars in front of our buildings, and of course, last but not least, our SROs that are in our buildings and our SPOs that are in our building. Can we do better? Yes, we can. Sad to say that we've had 2 walkthroughs, that's with the Sheriff's Department, with the state police, with our local police, that have been canceled because of snow. And the importance of doing the walkthroughs are when students are in school. To do them when nobody's in school doesn't do us any good, to take a look at what those areas are that we need to improve on. With that being said, you will see in our budget presentations over the next couple of weeks what we're looking to do in my presentation to the board about enhancing security. I can let you know that within the next couple of weeks, there will be an additional SRO officer at the high school, so we will have 2 there in place. As well as, again, working very closely with our first responders. I am aware and I know that we have gotten some gracious help from us to try to work with Homeland Security as we go about looking at this. We will be very much getting the information with regards to this gentleman, whoever he or she may be, getting that information, forwarding it to the Sheriff's Department, because as you know, they're the first responders, and working together to see how we can further enhance what needs to be done. So that's what the update is on what we're doing right now with security in the Mahopac Central School District, and I think you will be very happy to see some of the things that we want to add. Please understand, there are some things that go on that we just can't talk to you about, because then we'll be jeopardizing the health and safety of our students and our faculty. So there are some things we can share with you, but there are other things that we are doing that we are not allowed because of that, the security of all. Last night was a busy night. We had our middle school technology open house, and it was a great presentation by our technology teachers in the middle school, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Cluck, and Ms. Liu. And what's great about this is a partnership that the middle school and the Mahopac School Foundation worked together in getting a CNC router, which any of you know about CAD work and working on computers and getting this machine to be able to cut out, to work, to print different types of projects that the kids are doing with technology. It was just an amazing thing to see how lucky our students are here at the middle school to be able to take part in such a wonderful program. Also last night, we had a vaping workshop at the high school by Dr. Schumacher, a very renowned specialist at Northern Westchester Hospital, who has been gracious enough to come to Mahopac and a lot of school districts within the area to talk about vaping and this phenomenon that is going around this country. and the importance of understanding what the effects are, both short-term and long-term, on our adolescents. It will be on our website for you to see. That will be uploaded. It's also currently on our YouTube, Mahopac Central School District YouTube channel. That's HTTPS, YouTube, and we'll put it out, LEAWG7, you won't remember this, capital D, B, N, F, A, but we'll send it out to you and we'll give you the link. What we're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, we understand your work. And we understand that there are many nights that you have other obligations, whether it's working, whether it's being at events for your students at school or involved with MSA. So our goal is to get this information out to you. So you will be seeing a lot more of these workshops that you may not have been able to get to, but we will be putting them on all our different platforms so you can be able to click on it and watch. And not only watch yourself, but have your son and daughter watching this with you. And there are going to be some follow-up conversations at the high school involving vaping. The statistics are staggering. About 60% of high school students across the country are vaping. And the effects, as I mentioned to you, short-term but more or less long-term can be very, very devastating to health. And I might want to get into it. You can look at the YouTube channel. We had a lot of parents that came out, and I thank you for coming out. And you will get from me from time to time. I know you're probably tired of hearing of my voice when it comes to snow dates and the like, and hopefully you won't hear a lot of it. But I will be sending out to you emails and robocalls about events that we, of course, think are important to give you some insight into where they are, and what they're about. Also yesterday, Mahopac High School, I have to tell you, did an absolutely amazing job. The High School Strive and the High School Climate Committee for the 17 minutes of observation in regards to what happened down in Florida back in February. The students organized it. The auditorium was packed. And for those 17 minutes, moms and dads that are here tonight and outside, your sons and daughters were absolutely incredible. You could hear a pin drop. It was really a moment of reflection. It was understanding how important it is for us to care about one another, to be open to one another, to listen. And when you see something, say something. As a superintendent of schools, I was honored to be there as a superintendent to see the amount of dedication, time that went into this, but most importantly, the reception from the kids about this point in time in their lives. So I'm very, very proud of them. And then last but not least, I want to thank the students that took part in this as well as the teachers, and that's Nina Padarati, Chloe Lee, Carly Steinberg, Ava Copeland, Fabiola Laska, Dritra Lugaraj, Emma Lubers, Jessica Caputo. Those are the students who actually helped organizing this. And then, of course, our assistant principal, April Lumnich, Amy Mahoney, staff member, Crystal Holton, Dara Berkowitz, Paul Clements, and Chris Purr. I thank you very, very much. And last but not least, a couple of major events that have been moved. That's March Madness has been moved to March 24th. And you'll see some information coming out about that. And also Illusions will be taking place on March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So please come out and support those events. Madam President, that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you for such a detailed report. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. At this moment, we will have our committee reports, and due to the snow and the weather, I think we had 2 committees that met. Who has reports? Mr. Bell? Trustee Bell, do you? The curriculum?
Good evening. Curriculum did meet in February. We were able to squeeze one in between the snowstorms. We were joined by leaders of the Putnam Coalition Community that Cares and the Preventative Council of Putnam. Basically, it was a preview of the presentation that Mr. Carlo just alluded to, the dangers of vaping. So basically, I don't want to go over a lot of what he mentioned, but there was a presentation done last night. Over 100 parents did attend it. It was well received. It will be on the district website as well as the YouTube channel. If anybody missed it, they can go see it there. I wasn't able to make the presentation, but in that preview that we received, as Mr. DiCarlo said, the numbers are startling. I have two girls that just graduated from high school. I guess we missed this whole vaping craze, but it's scary. They basically compared it to the very beginning stages of smoking. Not much is known. There's very little research on the long-term health effects, but what little we do know is frightening. So if you get a chance to go and log on, it's definitely worth a look-see. Last month at the meeting, there were a number of parents that raised some concerns about preparation for AP Chemistry. In response to that, we now have a Saturday test preparatory class. A couple of the classes obviously were canceled due to the snow, but all the other dates, they've been well attended. The students seem very happy that they're getting some extra work in, and that Saturday class will continue right up until the AP test. The last thing we discussed basically were preliminary budget discussions. Dr. Pease has been meeting with the various principals as well as department heads, and they've been talking about their budgetary needs, requests, as well as staffing requests. Our next meeting is Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Over here in the professional development room across the hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bell? Good evening.
Can you hear me? Good. So Finance met Friday, March 9th at 6 o'clock. Superintendent DiCarlo was there. Assistant Greg Sullivan, President Mufasa, member, Trustee Mufasa, President Mancuso, and Vice President Mongan. We discussed the preliminary review of the budget. We looked at some draft spending, and we just reviewed 2018-2019 budget. I'm not sure when our next finance meeting is, but we will be having one in April.
Thank you. Mr. Vice President? Buildings and Grounds?
Good evening. On March 1st, after a couple of snow rescheduling, our Building and Grounds Committee met at the Fall School at 7 p.m. Meeting was attended by Superintendent DiCarlo, our Director of Building and Grounds, George Prine, Trustee Simone, Trustee O'Connor, and myself. Of the topics, we had 14 contractors pick up bid packets for the roof project that we anticipate that will start this summer. We went into further depth about some of the logistics of consolidating our district office and the C-Corps operation to here at the Fall School. Security was referenced throughout the evening. And then we went over some administrator items for work to be done in the buildings, kind of like a wish list, if you will, that were discussed. The meeting started at 7 p.m. and we were fortunate to be able to finish the meeting by 9:30. And I want to thank everybody that attended after the several reschedulings. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Trustee O'Connor?
Good evening. The Technology Committee did not meet because of a weather-related cancellation, but I did speak with Dr. Stoll at our Monday work session, and he just wanted me to convey, first of all, his thanks to all the families for putting together and completing the loan agreements for the Chromebooks. As Superintendent DiCarlo mentioned, the handout of the Chromebooks went extremely smooth, and it's thanks to all the moms and dads and all the students for completing these agreements. And Dr. Stoll just wanted to pass along his thanks that it was pretty much seamless. The weather did cause some delays with handing out the Chromebooks to the high school, so they are completing that handout this week. It was scheduled for, I think, last week, but I can tell you that my 3 kids all have Chromebooks now, so I think everybody should be getting a Chromebook probably by the end of the day tomorrow. Dr. Stoll also mentioned that for parents that want to kind of understand the Chromebook, if you don't really get it, as I didn't at first, there on the Mayapack homepage, there is under the quick link on the homepage, there is a site, a link called Technology for All website. So parents can go to that and learn about the Chromebook and what its functions are and what it does and some other features of the Chromebook. So we encourage all parents to check that out if you have any questions on the Chromebook. And last but not least, as part of the Smart School Bond, which the Chromebook handout was, this phase of the Chromebooks has ended. The next phase will be kind of a next-gen security project as part of the Smart School Bond. So that will be happening within the next 12 to 18 months, so we'll be reporting on that periodically in these meetings, and the Technology Committee will be meeting. And it's really about security enhancements to the district, camera systems, and things of the like. So we will be reporting on that in the future. So those of you that that are a little bummed out that the Chromebooks are ending, you might not hear from me in the future. You will hear from me, because I'll be talking about the security enhancements that are coming. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee O'Connor. At this point of the meeting, we have a presentation. We have a wonderful presentation, the highlight of the evening. We have BOCES here to award Student of Distinction to Miss Alexandra Gaspar. So please, Mr. Bucci. Please, yes.
Thank you. I want to thank the Mahopac Board of Education. I grew up here at some roots. And the Central Administration for having us here tonight to recognize one of our students of distinction at the Tech Center. My name is Jim Bellucci. I'm one of the principals at the Tech Center. And on behalf of Dr. Ryan, our Board of Education, and our Central Administration, thank you to all of you for allowing us to come here to talk about one of our shared students, Alexandra Gaspar. I'd also like to recognize a board member at BOCES who's also a longtime Mahopac resident, Anita Feldman, who's here tonight. And her, Alexandra's instructor, Mr. Carlo Vedrini. And her counselor, Karen Carey. Now, when we got here tonight, I asked Alexandra if she had written her speech, which was a April Fool's joke. She's not going to have to do anything. She's done everything to get here tonight. But she had a little adrenaline rush on that one, which was done to me many years ago. Did I write my speech before? And I didn't. But she is one of 1,200 students that pass through the Tech Center every day. We recognize one per month. So if you're ever wondering what the top 1/10 of 1% of people look like, here's one right here. Her teachers, her peers, everyone around her said she's smart, quick, great problem solver, just about the perfect person. So mom and family, you should be proud. And if you have younger siblings, you've killed the curve for all of them. She does great in everything she does. She's looking at 2 great schools right now, and probably some others. Stony Brook and RIT accepted at both. And so she's got the curse of choices, which is a good thing in this world. She has some other colleges that are coming in too. She's got a bright future. She's competed on our teams at the Tech Center in the New Visions engineering program. She's hard charging. Really, to sum it up, she puts the wind in the sails of all around her and motivates us, all of us, whether you're a board member, a community member, a teacher, administrator. It's students like her that set a standard that drive all of us, even her peers too. So she's earned it. I'm just going to briefly read her certificate and then ask Ms. Feldman to put on her medal. So the Student of Distinction, March 2018, the Tech Center. This certificate is awarded to Alexandra Gaspar in recognition for your outstanding leadership, skills, academic progress, and community spirit. Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES Tech Center signed District Superintendent James M. Ryan and Director of Career and Technical Education Catherine Balistreri. So at this time, the best part is putting the medal on Alexandra. So thank you again as a member of the Mahopac class of 1985. I want to thank all of your predecessors. I didn't realize as a young man, student, how much work goes into what we all do now. So thank you for having us tonight. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Bellucci. What a nice speech you gave. Wind, the sails, I like that. Congratulations again, Alexandra. At this moment, are the most students here to make a presentation this evening? Yay!
Good evening. We are the student representatives from Mayapac's Organization for Student Teamwork, or MOST, which is the student government at the high school. My name is Morgan Kirby, and I'm the executive president of MOST.
My name is Shireen Tour. I'm a student representative of MOST.
I'm Julia Mendy, and I'm also a student representative of MOST. First off, we would like to welcome Mr. DiCarlo to our school district. We are very excited for the future of Mayapac schools and having you as our new leader. We would like to introduce you to our organization and get you up to speed with what we're working on and hope to accomplish for the remainder of the school year. As mentioned, MOST stands for the Mayapac Organization for Student Teamwork. We are the student government at the high school, and the general purpose of the organization is to represent, defend, support, and enhance the student body. It is our job to represent the interests of the students before the staff, the administration, and of course the Board of Education in the implementation of school and district policy.
Each grade, freshman through senior, has 4 officers: a president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. There's also an executive committee who serve as not only the student leaders of the school, but the leaders of the student government itself. We meet every other week with our officers and advisors, and once a month with MOST as a whole. In our meetings, we discuss our current initiatives and our future plans. Here are a few things we do as student government.
Each grade chooses a charity at the beginning of the year. This year, the freshmen are donating to our local community cares organization. The sophomores are donating to the Red Cross. The juniors collect goods and send them to our troops in Afghanistan through the United of Troops organization, and us seniors ran a scrapbooking project for Maria Ferreri's Children's Hospital. To raise money for our charities, we do things like bake sales, Yankee Candle fundraisers, and manning the concession stand at football games.
Currently, the junior and senior classes are organizing the upcoming proms. Junior prom will take place on April 13th and senior prom on June 8th. We hold the responsibility as student government to plan and organize ticket sales and to organize and schedule the DJs for both proms. Our primary focus right now is to decrease the prices of these typically expensive tickets as much as possible for our fellow students. And once again, welcome to our school district, Mr. DiCarlo, and we are looking forward to all that's in store for the future of the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, thank you very much. And I know how much work goes into organizing proms, because when I graduated in 1979, that was my charge at Eastchester High School, was to help organize the prom. So thank you for your welcome. I look very much forward to working with you. Great job. Thank you, ladies.
At this time, we have the consent agenda, and I would like to remove letters J and K for acknowledgement. Vice President Morgan, will you please read J?
Yes, Madam President. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Mayapack Central School District accepts the donation of exercise equipment with a value of $2,221.90 from the Mayapack Sports Association and Touchdown Club to be added to the high school's fitness room for physical education and interscholastic athletic programs.
Thank you. And Mr. Hunter, can you kindly read K?
Certainly. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Mayapack Central School District accepts 3 yards of rock for school-wide project this spring. These rocks will be painted by students and placed in this garden.
Thank you. Motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this moment, it will be resident comments. Do we have any resident comments this evening? No. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for coming. Do you have a resident comment? So please come up, state your name, and please know there's a 3-minute limit. Yes, please.
My name is Samantha Moser. I had called. Dr. DeCarlo, I got your message from today's phone call on my way over here, so I apologize. We didn't get us time to chat. Can I hand out these for you? Can everyone hear me?
Put it up, maybe closer.
Is that better? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have been asked by parents of the Mayapack community to speak on their behalf about the current safety of our schools. And thank you for bringing this already on the docket and bringing this to attention. Many of us, including myself, were bothered by a letter issued by the past superintendent with the statement of our schools are as safe as can be. I have walked through my daughter's my daughter's elementary school many times as a former Marine who worked in international security forces, and I see many areas that could be addressed. That being said, none of us are experts, but we genuinely care and are worried for our children's safety. Instead, it is more effective for us to begin talking openly. Therefore, I am asking that the board approves an independent assessment completed by a Mr. Tadrick, who is with the Department of Homeland Security. Mr. Tadrick specializes in active school shooter evaluations and has been to most, if not at all, the schools that were impacted by tragic events. His expertise includes understanding specific vulnerabilities while keeping up with current federal data produced about past events. His role is to give a thorough evaluation of the school's current measures and provide areas, if any, in need of improvement. I had previously contacted Assistant Superintendent Dr. Stoll on February 28th and offered an informal introduction via email, but yet there was no follow-through. Therefore, I am asking that this assessment be done in complete independence. I have been made aware that the local police and state will be doing an assessment and feel this is an exemplary step in the right direction. I also applaud the Sheriff's Department and find great value in Officer John at my daughter's school and appreciate seeing him daily. I think it would be in our best interest if we utilize the services being offered to us for free and utilize it as well and come with both assessments upon the completion. This evaluation will provide a complete objective perspective. Please know that my request is not to make current or future protocol public by any means. This is only to see that the board is proactive in measures. Lastly, I would like to know that this board intends to routinely examine current measures and actively compare other schools' procedures and interventions. I hope that we do not wait for another tragedy to bring need to this attention. Let us be proactive, school district, versus reactive. This is not to be a one-time plea, but instead the beginning of an open dialogue amongst the parents, the school board, and the administration. I have provided you the contact information for Mr. Tadrick, and who is awaiting for the appropriate contacts amongst the appropriate officials. Thank you for your dedication to the community and service. I also applaud the Sheriff's Department and find great value in their efforts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ms. Moser, thank you very much, and we will definitely do that. I can just let you know, even before I took this actual seat, I had conversations about the importance of safety and security. It is the utmost importance of all of our children. And your comments were spot on, and I can assure you that this information will be forwarded, and we will work in conjunction with the right measures to be able to do it, to make sure that we can do everything we can. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, and just to follow up, just a second. Just to follow up, yes, this board does take the security very seriously, and we will do everything we can in our power to increase the security and fill the voids should there be any. So we appreciate you coming up, and thank you so much, because it affects all of us. And God willing that, we never have to worry about that here in Mahopac and around the country. So thank you. Thank you for coming. If you want to come up, I think she's next, and then if you want to say a few words, okay. Would you like to get up and say a few words?
So I just had a question with regards to what she just stated.
You need to come up, yeah. I know. It's like The Price is Right, but there are no prizes. And please state your name. And then look at the camera and smile. There you go.
Liz Kalkakis. My question would just be, now that she's presented that bit of information, does that mean that you are going to contact this individual and go ahead with it? I mean, she did say that it was a free assessment that we made, or is that something that needs to be?
Yeah, so in all fairness to our first responders, this information will go to them because it has to be a joint discussion. So I will definitely forward that information on. I also want everybody to understand it's going to be very important at our budget sessions coming up, because you're going to see some of those recommendations that we can talk about, because it's important and it has an impact on our budget moving forward. So that will be important when we get to those presentations. I will definitely update you when they're happening. The board will be on our websites, but that's a very good point, because as I mentioned before, you will see some suggestions that have been discussed amongst myself and the board to further enhance many of what goes on during our school day. So thank you, it's a great point. But I will be doing that. I will be doing, actually, I've had a conversation today with Sergeant Zabo, so he is aware of the conversation that I did have with Ms. Moser, so it will be moved forward, yes.
Okay, so that's fair to say that being that it is an assessment that's made available, it's something that the district would go ahead with? I mean, I just feel like more measures or more proactive measures.
There's no question, but as a school board and us working with our first responders, who are the Sheriff's Department, the State Police, and the Carmel Police, it will be in conjunction with. So they will reach out to this gentleman and talk about what we have in practice before, and then I'm sure they will work something out together, and then we can move forward from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Want to come up?
Same topic. Thank you.
Yes. Please state your name.
Name's Chris O'Neill. Thank you for letting me speak. In addition to the physical security measures and steps that are being taken, part of that I see with these shootings and other issues is also the breakdown between communication between schools, social services, law enforcement. In addition to hardening the physical security, are you guys looking at the policies and procedures of sharing information with law enforcement? Are you guys reviewing how you're identifying kids who may be in trouble or need assistance? Is that something that's also being addressed and looked at besides foolproof, glass, cameras, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because it's not only that it's the social emotional piece of how we support students. And that's a big piece of what we need to look at in regards to what that looks like on an elementary level from a curriculum point of view, what it looks like on a middle school level, and what it looks like on a high school level. And that's some of the work that we're going to be doing also, because that social emotional wellness is very important. It's also important for students to understand about, if you see something, say something, that it's not tattling, because that's some of what adolescents go through. And it's also important, and we've had a lot of snow, meetings canceled, but I have set up meetings with the county, with Mr. Piazza, with regards to mental health and helping families, because a lot of times, as you mentioned, it's not only the child that's in crisis, and we can do certain things in school during the school day, but a lot of times the family is in crisis, and we need those wraparound services from a mental health point of view. So, you know, I'm looking forward to having those discussions also, because it's the whole piece of it that goes into it.
Exactly. I mean, I come from a law enforcement background, criminal justice background as well, and you know, when you get to a point where you're actually worrying about physical security, in my opinion, the system's already broken down. You know, you look at Florida, so many steps were missed along the way. Physical security is the last resort. There should be proactive steps. Proactivity is aside from physical hardening. It's getting out there and being one-on-one with the students and doing what needs to be done to stop this. Because the kids coming in the building, we're already too late, you know, at that point. So, please, but thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you for coming out this evening. Alexandra, oh, did you? I'm sorry. He cut the line. Sorry.
Alexandra Cousins, 268 Archer Road. Good evening and welcome, Mr. DiCarlo. I have to say it's great to see a new face here, and since you've come to the helm, your communication has been excellent. If you, I've been to several of these meetings starting probably around July, and the issue that I'm always talking about is better communication from the board, from our superintendent, and I know you've only been here a couple of weeks, but so far you're doing a great job of communication. So we look forward to more of that. My one question tonight is, and it's probably the same question that I've had the last several meetings, what are we going to do about the continuing exodus of our administrators? Someone that was mentioned several times tonight, it's not been officially announced, but he has left, and it is a tremendous loss to our district, one of many, many losses to our district of our talented educators and administrators. My question, and they've all heard this question before except you, sir, is why is this happening? And the question I'm going to put to you is, as a new face and as hopefully a strong leader, what can you, can the community, can all of us do to keep our administrators and our teachers and our excellent educators here as they are leaving and leaving and leaving? And why is that happening? What is the problem? And what is going to be done to change it? It's the same question, nothing new. I just wanted to welcome you, and it's not your fault.
Okay, no, listen, I clearly understand, and some of this is personnel issues, so I have to be very careful because I can't speak for people who may want to decide to move on and go to other places. You know, that's their own personal prerogative and the like, and that would be very remiss if I commented on that. But I can let you know that I'm a strong believer in growing from within. And there's a lot of talented people in this district, and you saw BOCES here tonight. BOCES offers a wonderful program of nurturing teachers to become administrators, also administrators building principals to come into central office, and that's a part of what I think is vitally important. What I can say to you, I think it's important, as you mentioned, to create as much stability as possible. And you're right. I mean, we need to make sure now with these key positions that we look for those who are inside the district who may be interested, those who are outside that are going to make a commitment to staying here for a long period of time. Part of that is the way myself, our HR department, and committees look at people, interview people, and we want people to come here and make Mahopac their home. Because like anything else, when you have people leaving and coming and going, it's very difficult. True change is 3 to 5 years. Whether it's a program, whether it's somebody who's coming in to try to do things, and why things become difficult is there's always a rollover. And my job is to go out and hire those individuals who are going to make a commitment to the community, be out and about and visible. But I promise you, the next question will be, well, I hope some of the programs that we started are not now going to go by the wayside. I mean, and I can tell you they're not. We are making an effort to continue the great things that have gone on here and to take this district to the next level. But that's in my charge. And I can say to you, although I can't tell you about what other people have decided to do, I can tell you that those people that we hire, we're going to make sure that they're people who want to come to Mahopac, who know about Mahopac, who care about making Mahopac the best district it can be. It will be a very strong vetting process, and you'll get to know who those individuals are, and they'll become a part of who we are here at Mahopac. So I can partially answer that. I can't answer the other question about that per se. That would not be, correct on my part. But we are looking, and we're going to be out and about, and we're going to be getting those positions out on OLAS to be out in the forefront so that we can get a great pool of people to apply for these positions.
And I would urge you to, if you have the opportunity, to review, perhaps go back a year and look at just the individuals who have left in this last year. And is there a pattern? Is there a reason? I mean, we all know that there is a pattern and there is a reason, but we need someone who's fresh on this board, in your position, to be able to take a look at that and maybe look at it with a second set of eyes. Because we have lost some amazing, amazing people, and there are a lot of people who are very unhappy about that. Parents, teachers, other administrators are very unhappy with what's going on. And there is a reason that this pattern is continuing. And the reputation, the word is out there. You don't want to go to Mahopac to work if you have any intention of a long-term education career.
Yeah.
That is not a good thing for our system, for our property values, for our reputation, for our students, or for anyone else. So thank you for your time. Welcome. Please, please take a second look. And don't just take everybody's word for it. Please take a second look. Just at the last year, what's happened here.
So just let me speak to you a little bit about the process of what I do. So I do entrance and exit interviews with everybody, with administrators and the like, and I talk about my style and what I'm looking for. I get to know them, and I just started. So part of what I will be doing with all the principals, because that's my role. As a superintendent of schools, my role is to nurture, to help, and ask the principals how I can help them grow professionally and personally. Because ultimately, that's what we're always learning in education. And then, of course, their role and my role is to the classroom teacher is how can I help you grow professionally and personally? Because we want the best in front of our students each and every day. We want them to be on the cutting edge of professional development. So I can assure you that those conversations do go on. But I'd also want to let you know that I am very confident that we're going to have a very strong pool of people who want to come up here and work in Mahopac. Because there are many people that understand about this community, as I witnessed in what I saw with our kids yesterday. And the heart of this community and the people who are in this community who care about education and want the best for their kids. And believe me, I've been in Westchester County and Putnam County. I was right here at the Lakeland Copper Beach Middle School. So there are a lot of people who want to come up and work, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when we roll out who those new individuals are for the coming year. So again, I thank you very much for those comments. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to close.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you for coming this evening. Thank you for your comments and participation.